You're listening to Two Girls, One Crossword.
I feel like I have morning voice, which is probably how our podcast used to always sound because we would record at like the crack of dawn.
I know. We used to record like literally before the sun was up sometimes in the winter.
Was it literally before the sun was up? Maybe.
No. I would leave as it was still dark out. And I would get to the office as the sun was rising. And it's like 7:45 and we're like, hello, we're like, hello. Talking about the crosswords today.
Time to turn on pep. But now we're so used to recording, in the middle of the night as we do. 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning.
So I can't even be drunk to record. Like, what?
Yeah. Well, you could be. Nothing's stopping you. It is 9:30.
I have a mug. Nobody knows what's inside it.
Coffee. Mm-hmm. Well, good evening / good morning, everyone. We're recording a little off this week because it was my birthday, the day we usually record, and I had to order pizza and watch Invisible Man, so I could not record.
She is just, a diva requesting time off on her actual day of birth. Ridiculous.
How dare I? But we're back here today, early Saturday morning.
Ready to go. This is Two Girls, One Crossword, your favorite weekly Podword Crosscast, and I'm Chelsea.
I'm
That's
Grace. Nice.
Oh my God. Right?
We should just switch it off every week. We one of us introduces ourselves and then the other person.
Good idea. I love it. Stay tuned for more, listeners.
And then our third, what if we had a third co-host who just never spoke?
We do have a third co-host. They sit right next to me. Stop.
All right. Stop.
Oh they're smiling at me. I can't. Too much pressure. Well, welcome back. It is another week with us in quarantine over Zoom. Loving
This is
life.
our new normal now.
Basically, if anybody tries to tell me we're going back to how the old normal was, I will laugh in their face because it's impossible.
Yeah.
So
there's no way.
Shall we move on? I think we have 2 corrections corners. One is a real corrections corner, and the other is just something we're going to talk about. The first is Matt told me that he believes mouse over is, in fact, a real thing. And we just want to say that we agree that mouse over is,
I said it
in fact,
was real,
thing.
but I said it just wasn't, used commonly.
Who uses mouse over? I should say Matt is someone who would use mouse over.
Well, I was saying, when I was looking it up, I feel like it's used more when you're talking about, technically creating a website. Okay, when you mouse over this area, what happens? I don't know. I've never made a website, but
right.
I feel like that's what those nerds talk about.
I've never used mouse over. I'm not saying that you don't do that, listener. You might use that, but we don't here. On this podcast, we don't use that, okay?
Yeah. And then the other one was I said challah, the bread at the bar mitzvah, but it's pronounced challah.
Challah.
The C is silent. Well, it's not really silent. It's like that sound, but yeah. I'm not that good at making that sound.
What if my name, the C, was the sound like healthy?
It could be.
Call me that from now on.
Yeah.
So, hitch and shits?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to get us started?
I'm all over the place with my crosswords this week. I have some printed. My problem with the New Yorker is how many crosswords am I allowed to do a week in the New Yorker for free?
You can do 4 a month.
Oh, it's a month. Okay. See,
yes.
I need to space it out more. That's my problem. I thought it was a weekly thing.
Oh, no. I have a subscription.
To the New Yorker?
Yes, I've told you this.
Oh, okay.
Feel free to log in.
It changes everything. I know, but I love, now that I'm used to doing it on my iPad, I hate writing it in. It's so much nicer to do it on my iPad. Then I can save it. I don't have to have a million papers shuffling around every episode. But speaking of the New Yorker, some hits I liked were the Friday, August 28th crossword by Robin Weintraub. She had a couple funny ones, notably 16 across. It's a sucky procedure for short. It was lipo.
Nice.
And then 28 down, direction on the side of a shipping container. Mm-hmm. And it was the side up.
Yep. There's one, I think it's in the top left corner. I don't have it pulled up, but it was, the answer was kinda sorta. What was the clue for that one?
Oh, yeah.
I think it was just ish.
Yeah. I remember being is kinda sorta it, and I filled it in. I was
yeah.
I like that.
And it worked. Shout out on that puzzle that 14 and crossed, Willa the blank. And the answer is Willa the wisp. And if you guys do not listen or love Sound of Music like we do, you're missing out. Willa the wisp is a reference to Sound of Music in my heart of hearts. We also have a Sound of Music podcast Okay.
Do, re, mi. Check it out.
I actually went back and listened to the first episode, and the audio is cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, well, it's not until the third episode that it gets better, but it's worth it, okay?
It is. Stick with us. It's fun. You learn a lot of good stuff. We have a lot of fun. It's our first podcast together, so you can listen to us learn how to be funny together. Funny quotes.
Yeah. Okay, so I did some New York Times. I was feeling crazy.
Oh my God, who is she?
I liked the Monday, August 24th by Alfred Bywaters.
Yes.
The clue was like the X's.
The theme was really interesting.
Yeah,
I like that.
The theme.
Yeah.
So like stress between you and your former lover is an tension or extension. But the one that I liked from that was, or my favorite clue for the theme was 66 across. Current lover who seems suspiciously preoccupied. It was ex pending, like someone who's about to become your ex.
Yep.
I giggled at that. And then I have my only shit, I believe, from this one. It was 7 down.
Yep.
Texters
Me too.
transition. OTOH. Short for on the other hand. I did not know what this was. I had to
If you use OTOH, please write to us and let us know. I have never once ever used that. And I think just because something is an acronym doesn't mean it's used in text. That's it. I'm sorry. It's just nobody uses that.
And I feel like I've never seen it. I mean, maybe now that I realize it, I'll recognize it places. But, I spend a lot of time on the internet forums where people used, text speak like that.
Right.
And I don't think I've ever come across that. Or if I have, I had no idea what it meant. So
Right. I feel like that to me is someone Googling text acronyms or texting shorthand. And someone on Medium or BuzzFeed from 10 years ago made a list of all these potential acronyms that people are potentially using. And OTOH just rings of a certain age. And even if my father was texting with acronyms, he would never use OTOH. He would never say on the other hand in text message.
Yeah.
What?
POS, parent over shoulder.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know why they wanted to use that because I was looking, the one across is anti, which isn't, you wouldn't be dying to use that in a crossword,
Right.
It's not that interesting. But then another one I didn't like was 6 down, hop blank, get to work. I thought it was hop to it.
Me too.
It's hop on it.
I found that this puzzle
hop on it is from the song.
Yeah,
hop on it.
it is.
But I wouldn't say, I guess you do say it's time to hop on it, but get to work sounds like a command. So
Right,
you would tell
hop
someone,
to it.
Hey, hop to it. Yeah.
Yeah. I found that this puzzle, I liked the puzzle overall, but I found it was really difficult for a Monday. I thought this was definitely at least Tuesday or Wednesday, especially with some of the trivia stuff. There was one, it was the top right corner really stumped me, and I think it was just because of the cluing and some of the answers. The very first one across there was at 3 across. It was the layer underneath of...
undercoat of an oil painting? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sir, I don't know that.
I don't know it! But we liked your theme a lot.
Yeah.
Speaking of themes that I liked, did you do the Monday USA Today by Paolo Pasco?
Yes, I did.
I liked that theme. The theme was open your purse. So each themed answer has the word purse in it, but more letters kind of push the purse open. An example, 20 across. Gets ready to back up. Puts in reverse. So the first 2 letters are PU, and the last 3 letters are RSE. So it's purse, but expanded by this phrase.
I don't think I realized that was the theme of the...
Or 37 across, nothing new is par for the course. So it starts with a P and it ends with a URSE. So that's purse, but par for the course is in between it, Mm-hmm. It's opening it up. I liked that one. Another fun one from that was 19 across, flip-flop in Australia. And the answer is thong. And I think that's just a friendly reminder to everyone out there that words that you might use in your version of English mean something completely different in somebody else's version of English.
Yeah. So
fanny
your
pack,
Australian
for
friends
instance.
might tell you to pack your thongs for your beach vacation. Be like, oh, excuse me, that's none of your business. But just know they mean it in a totally innocent way, unless they have a foot fetish.
Yes. So that's that. What else do I got here?
This is like a cute shout out to the New York Times. The Friday, August 21st by Alex Eaton Sellners, who, I don't know why, for some reason I feel like there's mystery around this person, but I don't know why. It's not like I know any of the other constructors, but I just thought this was cute. The 23 across things formed at the bases of dog ears, creases. I know he means like in a book, but I first thought it was like, I'm like, yeah, they do have little creases in their ears.
Speaking of cute dog clues, here's one from the Monday New Yorker by Natan Lass, which was incredibly difficult for me, but I did get some of the answers. This one, 16 across, on-screen pointer, maybe. This took me ages to find out because I kept thinking it's like a laser or like, I don't know, like a literal pointer to like point to things on a screen.
Is it like arrow or cursor?
Stunt dog. Pointer as in a dog. On-screen
I should have known that you said it was a dog one. Cute.
Yep. Also from that puzzle, something I learned, 2 down, ethno-racial label used because it ends in a gender-neutral, pronounceable vowel. And the answer is Latin instead of Latinx. And Latin is like a gender-neutral, like he said, ethno-racial label. And I had never heard of people using E instead of X to kind of...
Is it Latin or is it Latine or something?
Well, it's spelled like Latine with an E at the end instead of an X.
Yeah,
so,
but I wonder if it's pronounced the English way or the Spanish way.
That's a very good question, and I feel like you would know better than me.
I don't know.
But I didn't get a chance to like look into this, but I think it comes from the idea that like, so you have un or una, and instead of putting an X at the end of una, or, un, to like gender neutralize it, to put an E there is much more pronounceable than having the X.
Yeah.
That's all I can assume. I don't actually know, but I just think that that's something that's interesting, and I'm going to look more into it.
Yeah,
So,
I'd never heard of that one before. Cool. Well, that's all I got.
I've got a couple more, and then we can move on. The Wednesday New Yorker by Patrick Berry. We both did a lot of New Yorkers this week. 20 down. This one stumped me for a while, but I really liked it. Game, animal, ?
Buck.
And the answer is mascot.
Oh,
Get a
cute.
figure. And then I also learned another thing from the New Yorker. 33 down, or 33 across, sorry. TV episode that might serve to introduce a spin-off series, and it's called a backdoor pilot. I didn't know that actually had a name when they kind of do like that standalone sort of episode of a TV show, but it could
like when they try to do that Dwight spinoff from The Office.
Right. Last one from the same New Yorker, 25 down, successfully exploits, and the answer is parlays, which is a shout out to, well, I'm taking it as a shout out to episode 37 where we talk about pirates and where the word parlay is used in pirate culture. So go listen to that. All right.
Boom, baby.
So that means we should move into our topics. What do you think?
I'm sad I didn't do that New Yorker because mascot would have been a fun topic.
It would have been. You would have done a really good job with that one.
I love watching mascot bloopers, by the way. If you've never looked them up on YouTube, they're very funny.
I have not. I had a feeling that you liked mascots because you watched The Masked Singer, which is like basically a bunch of celebrities dressed as mascots.
It's different. You wouldn't get it.
I don't get it, but I'm glad that you do.
Yeah.
Shall we do the coin flip?
We shall. Do it, baby.
All right. I'm flipping the coin now. Tails!
That's me.
Can you believe it?
Yes. Well, it's my turn, and I'm embarrassed to admit that I can't find my clue. I don't know what this week has been crazy.
It has been a little bit nuts.
It was my birthday week, so I'm giving myself a pass. This has happened to me before, actually. But normally I'd like, while I'm going through, I think of topics that I want to do, and then I'll kind of research them. Mm-hmm. But then at the end of the week, I'll like go through and highlight all the things I want to talk about and all the crosswords. And that's when I usually find I'm like, oh yeah, this is the topic I picked. But I can't find it. I don't know. But it is a topic that is used commonly in crosswords. It probably is considered crosswordese. So I'm just going to, I Googled some commonly clued things for it.
Okay.
So I'll have you guess what it is. It's a 4-letter word.
Okay.
Distinctive air, subtle emanation, vague emanation, surrounding radiance, mystical glow, personal
aura.
glow. It is aura.
Very
Boom,
nice.
baby. So many vowels in one word. They love that shit.
Oh my God, this is just getting me all hot and bothered thinking about it.
So yes, aura is my topic for this week.
All right, I am excited.
Okay, so what is an aura? Do you have an aura? I don't see one, but I'm not an aura
No.
reader. So if any listeners are, let us watch our YouTube channel and let us know what our auras are. But what is an aura? Okay, it is supposedly an electromagnetic energy field that surrounds a living thing or a person.
Okay.
And while we may associate it with like New Age beliefs, the sensing of energy fields goes back, throughout cultures and time and whatever we've actually talked about in some of our other episodes. So like the concept of having this energy, this colored lighted energy around you, is reflected in halos that you see, in depictions of Jesus and other like Christian saint imageries
Okay, yes.
from back in the day. The Indian concept of prana, which is a person's life energy, or the idea of chi, which we learned about in our feng shui episode.
Okay.
Yes. Chi, if you remember, is like the energy that surrounds all living things and even non-living things. Everything has energy, and
Right.
if you want to, organize your chi in a way to promote like the best flow of energy.
Is this similar to, I'm sure you'll talk about it, chakra?
Yes, it is related to chakras. At least, okay, so today I'm going to talk about like the Western modern idea of auras,
Okay.
which does relate to chakras.
Okay.
And I know you have some experience with
I do.
chakras,
I
so
do.
I hope that you talk about it
I
because
will.
I don't have any. Okay, so basically an aura, they come in like different colors, and then the different colors represent different things,
Yes.
emotional and spiritual categories. So you can't always see auras with a naked eye, obviously, unless you walk around, seeing light around people. But some people describe it as, a vibe that someone gives off. And I feel like
Vibe
sometimes
check.
you can check someone's vibe. And I feel like sometimes, you meet someone and your vibes relate. So that's could be their aura.
Your vibes just start rubbing up against everybody else's, and you're just like, this is the one I want to rub against longer.
Yeah,
Not
you're
this
on the
person.
same vibe, the same vibrational frequency.
Love it.
Okay, so your aura consists of 7 layers, and each one represents something different. It's kind of like an onion, where like your body is in the middle.
Oh my God,
If you
we
wanna
also
learn more
talked about onions.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a 7-layered onion with you in the middle.
I love it.
So the 7 layers from the inside out are 1, the physical aura plane, and this represents your physical health. The second layer is your emotional plane, which changes color depending on your mood and will appear dull or smudged if you're experiencing emotional turmoil.
Oh, great. So I'm probably really smudgy right now.
Yeah. And if you're a Friends fan, there's like, I feel like it's in the pilot episode where Phoebe is, or Ross is like all upset because his marriage is falling apart, and Phoebe is like doing weird stuff, like plucking the air around him, and he's like, stop plucking my aura. And she's like, fine, stay smudged. Okay, 3, your mental aura plane. This plane has to do with logic, reasoning, and thoughts. 4 is the astral body, and this deals with your spiritual health, and this is where you store your capacity for love. So make sure your astral aura is good and ready to go.
Gucci. Got it.
The 5th one is the etheric plane, and this is where you find your psychic abilities.
Oh my
So
God, okay.
you want a clear etheric plane aura to be able to like tap into other people's energies. So that one's like kind of rare.
Do you know anybody who's psychic? Off
No.
topic.
No,
My
I
dad
don't.
claims he's psychic with
Okay.
numbers. He's
Well-
gotten some really good examples. I mean, like, I don't know if I believe this shit, but he swears by it, and he also swears that my great grandmother, his grandmother, was psychic. So I wonder what his aura, what is it called? This layer?
Etheric plane.
Yes,
The
what it
5th
looks
layer.
like. Yeah.
Well, I was just listening to another podcast, Chatty Broads, and they had a psychic on there, and I was like, maybe this guy's legit. I don't know. I like buy into this stuff so easily,
know.
though.
I mean,
Okay.
what else is there? We're stuck in our houses. It's quarantine. The world is ending. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have some fun, okay?
Only tell me good things, though. I don't want to go to a psychic. They're like, actually, like, I had a friend
Actually,
who,
Megan.
I have a friend who went to a psychic, and they told her that she would be like single till she was 40. She was like, okay, cool. She's like our age.
Oh my
Anyway,
God, okay.
yeah. So 6 is your celestial plane, and this is the plane where your dreams and intuitions are stored. It's the plane of enlightenment. So someone with a strong celestial aura plane is highly creative. And then your final layer, the 7th layer, is called the casual aura, which is like the layer that keeps all the other ones together and under control.
I would hope it's not too casual.
I
You
know.
just
It's
gotta
like,
keep
why do they
everything
call it
together.
that? I was like, you need to be like on top of things.
Yeah.
It's be like the Virgo layer.
Yeah, right?
But to me, it kind of sounds like, it reminded me of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like physical at the bottom, and then it's like emotional, and then, you know, eventually you reach enlightenment. So
Yep.
it's all the same
It's all there.
stuff.
Okay, it's all
Yeah.
in the mind, the energy.
Okay, so auras come in all different colors, but what do the different colors mean? Well,
Tell
there's
me.
7 different colors, like there's 7 different layers, and it reminded me of another episode we did about the 7 wonders of the world. I forget what episode it is,
We're
but
the
it's called,
7
like,
layers
7
of hell.
Yeah. Well, it remember said like 7 is a like spiritual
It is.
magical number. So there's the 7 seals, which is another episode we did about the end of the world, which I don't even want to listen to now.
I know.
It's too real. Okay,
real.
so the 7 colors of the aura correspond with 7 chakras. And if you don't know what chakra, if you've ever done yoga, you've probably heard of chakras. It's basically just like they kind of run up your body, like from the base of your spine. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about them. But all this information is from a website called mindbodygreen.com.
Okay.
Okay, so the root chakra is the lowest chakra, and it's at the base of your spine, and it is red. So if your aura is red, it means that you're working from a stable base. The second is the sacral chakra, and that's in your lower abdomen, and it is orange. And if your aura contains orange, it means that you are essentially, this is from the website, quote, essentially the emotional equivalent of snuggling up under a weighted blanket. Also
Love
means
it.
you're very independent and a realist.
Okay.
The solar plexus chakra is above your belly button and is yellow, and yellow means you're creative, curious, and optimistic. The heart chakra is at your heart, and its colors are green and pink, and people with these color auras tend to be compassionate, kind, and loving. Your throat chakra is blue, and it's your means of expression, of being you, saying what you need to say, being a good communicator. So if your aura is blue, it means you are intuitive and empathetic. Your third eye chakra is on your forehead, and it's purple and violet. And your third eye is, quote, your vision of everything you desire to create, the seat of your intuition. So if your chakra is purple, then you might have some sort of psychic ability and are highly intuitive. So if your dad has a purple aura, then
Okay. I'm going to make
Yeah.
him go to get Reiki done. I actually think he would
Yeah.
really like Reiki because he's just like that.
yeah, I would like it.
I know you would.
Okay, and then the last one is the crown chakra. So this is above your head, and the color is white, and it is very rare to have crown chakra. That's like, you know, high enlightenment.
Yeah. Speaking of chakras and Reiki, that is what Grace was referencing at the top of her section about like my experiences with chakra. And I have a friend who's studying to become, you know, I don't actually know what it's called, but she's studying Reiki. And she asked me to come over, and she did Reiki on me. And I'm not, I wouldn't call myself spiritual by any means. I like talking about like astrology, and I like the idea of people having auras, but I tend not to believe a lot of things, you know, in my personal life. But I went and I got this done, and it was a really interesting experience. And you really, I don't know why or how, maybe it's a biological thing, maybe it is spiritual, maybe I need to like open my mind a little bit, but you
Your
really,
third eye.
your third eye, yeah, you really do see colors all the way up and down your body. And what she did is she you know, did the whole procedure, and afterwards she asked me questions, and I kind of explained to her that like there's moments where I would see color along my body, and as soon as she got down like past my belly button, everything was orange and red and really, really warm and really, really hot. And she was like, that's the, whatever you called them, chakras, and they're
Yeah.
orange and red, and they're supposed to be really warm because they're supposed to be really comfortable, like whatever. And she said that the worst place for my chakra, like where I was most bottled up, was my head, because I'm not open to
Your third eye is closed.
the procedure.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really interesting. She's like, she spent so much time in my head because she was trying to unblock it, but she couldn't because I probably wasn't relaxed enough yet. By the time she got down to like my legs, I was much more relaxed and more in like a meditative state. But yeah, that's what she said. Like, I didn't see any colors up here because I was still like so in my head and I couldn't like relax. And also, it's not something I necessarily believe in. And so
you would have
she was
seen
like, "You're all
purple and
clogged."
violet, though.
Okay.
That's the third eye chakra color.
Nice.
But yeah, so did you see any black? Because your aura could be black.
I did. I mean, my eyes were closed, so I did see black, but I don't think it was like intentionally black, you know.
They said that if your aura is black, it means you're holding on to negative thoughts and emotions, which block the flow of energy through your chakras. But if you don't like your aura, you can change it, okay, through positive thinking, meditation, and sound therapy, etc. All that, you know.
Yeah.
Woo-woo.
I really like that idea. I don't know. My chakra is all blocked up. My third eye is closed. I need someone to open it for me. And then we can talk.
I don't think I'm that person. Okay, so about the history of auras, like how did it even make it into our culture?
Tell me.
Obviously, we like stole it from someone,
Of
but
course.
okay. So the word aura in Latin and ancient Greek means wind, breeze, or breath. But by the late 19th century, it was used in like spiritual circles to describe a subtle emanation around the body. The concept of auras as we know it today was first popularized by Charles Webster Leadbeater. He was a former priest of the Church of England.
Okay.
But then he left to become a member of the Mystic Theosophical Society.
Okay.
So that's more like Eastern theology.
Sure.
So he studied in India, and he believed that he had clairvoyant powers, like your father.
Okay.
He also had a lot of scientific discoveries that he wrote about.
Nice.
Some. He claimed that most men came from Mars.
Yes.
But the more advanced men came from the moon.
Okay. Wait. What's the rhyme?
Women, or boys, or no. Men go to Jupiter to get more stupider.
Girls go to Mars
to be movie stars.
I guess said superstars, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but then it's like, yeah, women are from Mars and men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I believe
I've
is
heard
the
that
other saying.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. Venus is like the female planet. Anyways, he didn't say that, but he did say that men came from Mars. So if you
Makes
believe
sense.
him. He also claimed that hydrogen atoms are made of 6 bodies contained in an egg-like form.
Okay,
We had a
I
lot
don't
of different...
anything about atoms, so I cannot
Yeah.
prove or disprove that statement.
Someone could tell me that, and I'd believe him. Okay, so he wrote a book in 1903 called Man Visible and Invisible, and this is when he first started talking about auras. He illustrated the aura of man at various stages of like moral evolution, from quote savage to the saint.
Oh, great. Savage. Love it.
Yeah.
Love that language.
In 1910, he wrote another book called The Inner Life, and he started incorporating a tantric notion of chakras. So chakras come from like Hinduism and Buddhism, but he added his own spin on things. He's the one who started associating auras with energies and body parts. That was in 1910, and then in 1977, when things were starting to get more like, you know, hippie, new agey in the West, American esoterist Christopher Hills published the book Nuclear Evolution, The Rainbow Body, and he kind of modified Leadbeater's aura. So Leadbeater had his like explanation of auras was extremely complicated. He had all these like intricate designs and shapes and like, you know, explanations. So Hills made them way simpler. He presented them as a sequence of centers, each one being associated with a color of the rainbow. So essentially he dumbed it down for everyone.
Nice. Thank you,
Over here.
Christopher.
Yeah. So chakras became a part of mainstream esoteric speculations in the 80s and 90s. Many New Age techniques that aim to clear blockages of the chakras, such as meditation, crystal therapy, all that stuff, started to be developed during these years in the 80s and 90s. By the late 1990s, chakras had more or less lost their connection with like their Hinduist roots in the West, and they were infused into New Age ideas and practices.
Okay. Yes.
So how do you see auras? There are people who claim to be aura readers, and if you live in like a metropolitan area, I'm sure you can find many of them. I see like psychic signs all over my neighborhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if they read auras, but there's some people who claim that they can read auras. But a new, like, it's not actually that new, but something that I've heard about is aura photography.
Yes, this is the one I'm most familiar with.
Yeah.
We talk about it at work as potential, like, fun thing to do, like, for the office, you know, like, have the aura photographer come in and do aura photography.
I know it's, like, a big thing to do in New York. There's, like, a place in Chinatown that's, like, famous for it. So, while this is, like, a very trendy thing right now, it's the idea of being able to capture auras through photography has been around for a while. In 1939, Semyon Devadovic Kurlian discovered, he was a photographer, he discovered that by placing an object or body part directly on photographic paper and then passing a high voltage across the object would, like, give the image a glowing contour surrounding the object. So this process came to be known as Kurlian photography, and some people thought that the glow was representation of, like, psychic powers or paranormal energy, but it's since been, like, science has been like, no, I mean, I read what caused it. I don't understand it. It has something to do with, like, moisture and the object being photographed or whatever. So there is a scientific explanation for it. But the hunt for being able to capture an aura through photography did not stop there.
You can't stop us.
You cannot, okay? People need to know. In the early 80s, an engineer in Silicon Valley named Dr. Guy Coggins came up with something called the Aura Cam, which is still used today.
Okay.
It is a 10-second double exposure photograph where the subject sits with each hand on a biofeedback receptor box. So the box measures your electromagnetic energy, and then the camera takes, you know, a 10-second double exposure. So the first exposure is a regular Polaroid photo, and then the second converts the data from the boxes and superimposes a color over your portrait.
Okay. Nice.
So if you want to buy an Aura Cam, it's only $10,000.
That's it. For the low price.
Yeah, but you charge $50 a pop, so it basically pays for itself, okay? According to the website, Dr. Coggins says, quote, "When we realize that everything originates from within, we'll see that all the love, peace, and happiness in the universe is inside. We can have that. It's really so simple and easy when you learn about the unique splendor of your own energy." But then, also on the website, he says, quote, "The Aura Cam does not photograph the actual aura. There's nothing that exists which can do this." That's like his legal, he has a bunch of legal stuff on there. Like, this is not for medical diagnoses.
He's got to cover his tracks, man. You know, someone out there is like, okay, my aura is too black and I got to get it unclogged and I need some sort of medical procedure. It's like, okay. Relax.
Yeah, he can't be liable for that. He's out here making money. And if you're wondering, yes, Dr. Coggins did build a custom aura measuring device for none other than L. Ron Hubbard.
That is the tea. That is the tea, everyone. You heard it here first.
Yeah. If you don't know, that is the founder of Scientology. How could you not know that?
How could you not know?
Well, Scientology, they use those, like, e-reader or e-meters things,
exactly.
which, like, you put your hand on a box, so it's probably similar. He was like, yeah, I got you a custom aura reader, wink, wink, and then just gave him the same, an Aura Cam.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe aura measuring devices are a scam, right?
Maybe
These
they
cameras.
are. Mm-hmm.
But does that mean that auras don't exist? Have you ever felt someone's vibe? What about people who have migraines? They claim to see auras. That's one of the most common pre-symptoms of a migraine coming on. And some people argue that that is a sign of lower consciousness that heading into a migraine allows you to reach.
Oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah. So
Not that I want migraines, but, like, maybe once I'd like to, like, see what it's all about.
Experience it.
I'll do anything once.
So yeah, it's up to you to decide if auras are real or not, but I will end this topic by reminding everyone that the fourth Saturday of every November is International Aura Awareness Day. Nice. So forget Thanksgiving, all right? This holiday is often overshadowed by Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it exists. So hit me up on that day, and we'll talk about
Let's
our
celebrate.
auras. Yes.
I actually would really like to get aura photography done. The Ace Hotel comes to Chicago, used to before all this nonsense, and there's a woman that does aura photography. But it's so expensive, and they're basically, like, charging $150 a pop for these things, and it's like...
Yeah, just find someone who has a Polaroid camera and, like, knows how to do...
Right, I'll Photoshop some colors on it for you if you really want.
Yeah, I know. I want it done just for the cool picture. I mean, Dr. Coggins doesn't even believe in his own product.
He doesn't. Look at the legal language on his website, folks, okay? Wake up, sheeple.
I'd rather go to a person that's like, your aura is black and you suck. And I'm like, okay. At least I know.
Yeah, no,
You just confirmed what I've known all along.
Your aura is not black, Grace, okay? If anything, it's at least a little bit gray, okay?
Thank you.
You're
That's
welcome.
very kind of you.
So moving on to my topic. It comes from the Monday, August 24th, USA Today by Paolo Pasco. 52 across. Disney warrior who sings Reflection. And the answer is Mulan.
Nice.
Such a beautiful song. I love that song so much.
Yeah, except the freaking voice actress didn't... Or did she sing it?
No, Christina Aguilera sung it, and it kickstarted her career. She wasn't basically a star until that song just blew her up.
Did she sing it in the movie?
I believe
or
she does,
is she just on the soundtrack?
From what I understood, she was the one. It was the one in the actual movie.
And does a Chinese actress do the voice for Mulan?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe Chinese American, and then her singing voice outside of Reflection is a Filipino American.
You think they could just find someone who could also sing?
You would think. You would really think, but it's Disney. So, but yeah, we're talking about Mulan today.
Yay!
Yay! I'm really excited about this topic. I learned some really fun stuff, so I'm going to teach you.
It's very timely because the live action
is.
Came out or is coming out.
It's coming out, and we'll talk about the live action. So hold your horses there.
Okay.
We're going to start with the Disney Mulan from 1998. Most people in America know of Mulan from the animated version that Disney released in 1998. It was Disney's 36th animated feature film, and it was the 9th animated release during the Disney Renaissance, which is a time period between 1989 and 1999 when they kind of released all of these really amazing critically acclaimed films. Movies from the Disney Renaissance would be The Little Mermaid or Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King, Pocahontas, that kind of stuff. The big,
The classics.
The classics.
The ones that we had on VHS.
Exactly. Mulan was directed by Tony Bancroft and Barry Cook. I looked into their directing careers, and it seems like Mulan is the biggest film that they ever directed, and after that, they kind of went more back into the animation department and they're still working in film and producing stuff, but they're not directing, which I thought was interesting that they did such a great job with Mulan, and then they didn't really do much after that. In the realm of directing, they're still animating and working on animation teams and things like that. A little synopsis of the Disney story for you. Okay. So, Disney's Mulan takes place in China during the Han Dynasty. Mulan is the daughter of an old warrior, Fa Zhu, okay? The Huns invade Han China, and the Chinese emperor requires one man from each family to join the Chinese army in order to fight the Huns. Mulan's father is the only man in the family, and he must step up to once again defend China. Mulan, who basically until this point has been told, you just need to get married, you need to settle down, find a husband, be beautiful and be a woman. She realizes that her father is going to be sent off to war, and she's like, holy crap, my father's too sick, he's too frail, he can't do it. So she hates that she's basically being told, you need to be a woman, you need to get married, blah, blah, blah. She decides, F this. She cuts off all her hair, she steals her father's armor and her father's sword, and enlists instead of him. Basically, she's accompanied by a guardian spirit who is in the movie.
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. His name is Mushu. He's a tiny little dragon. He's a disgraced guardian spirit, and he accompanies Mulan to basically keep her safe, hoping that the other guardian spirits will take him out of disgrace, and honor him for keeping Mulan safe. Mushu, this little Eddie Murphy dragon character, helps Mulan keep up the ruse that she is a man, because the thing is, her cutting her hair, it's a big moment in the film, okay? It's to put herself into disguise because women can't fight in the army. So that's why she had to cut her hair. So she's disguised as a man. Mushu is helping her keep up her manly attributes, teaching her how to act like a man while she trains in the army. And she kind of sucks at first in the army, but under the command of General Li Shang and some of her army buddies, she gets really, really good, and basically she eventually earns herself the title of warrior. The Huns attack. Mulan helps them fight off the Huns, but she's seriously injured. And through her injury and her recovery...
You see her boobies!
You see her boobies! Not really. This is a PG movie, okay? But her identity is revealed, and Commander Li Shang walks into the tent and she has like a wrap around her chest, and he realizes that she is in fact a woman. And this is crazy because Commander Li Shang at this point has started harboring strange romantic feelings for his male warrior friend. He doesn't understand it, and then he finds out that she is
bisexual king.
Yes, he is a bisexual legend. Okay, we love Li Shang in this house. Okay. But basically, like, he finds out that she's a woman, and he has to decide, I either execute her, or I secretly let her go from the army. So what does he do? He doesn't execute her, because that would suck.
Obviously. That would be a weird ending to a Disney movie.
Yeah. He's heartbroken, though, because he's been lied to, and then he's also having, like, a sexual identity crisis, so...
He's so hot, too. I mean, I know he's a cartoon, but...
I know, I'm like, hello, let's hang it out. He is like, I will make a man out of you, and it's like, yes, please. So basically she's expelled from the army. She goes home. As she's arriving home to the Imperial City, she realizes some of the Huns have still survived the attack, and they're planning to attack the Emperor. So even though she's a disgraced warrior, she decides, I'm going to save the Emperor. And she goes and tries to save the Emperor. Just as Li Shang arrives, helps her, they save the day, and the Emperor is so pleased he honors her with his sword. And that kind of like is how the movie ends, with Mulan just being bestowed great honor, going back to her family and being like, peace, I'm home, and I'm a warrior. Dad, are you proud of me? And he is very proud of her. So it's a really beautiful ending to
the scene where the dad is about to enlist in the army, like, and he's walking with the cane, makes me tear up, like, just thinking about it.
We need to rewatch the animated Mulan before.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Okay, we'll talk about this after.
Mulan was my favorite. I wasn't like that into the princess movies. I liked The Lion King, but as far as like the princess movies went, Mulan was by far
Mulan is amazing. I definitely grew up loving Cinderella. I love Cinderella just because that's the one I watched the most as a young girl. But of the more recent Disney movies, Mulan kicked butt, okay? Amazing. And also Li Shang. Li Shang is like all you need from Mulan. The original story for the 1998 Disney's animated Mulan was basically supposed to be more of like a romantic comedy. Which I thought was interesting. Essentially, it was supposed to be about Mulan's arranged marriage to Li Shang. And so Disney brought in this new head writer named Chris Sanders, and he hated this, like, romantic comedy thing. He was like, can we please be a little bit more faithful to the original legend? And the Disney executives were like, actually, we really like that you're really dedicated to the original legend. Fine. And so we have to thank this Chris Sanders head writer guy for changing Mulan from this like romantic comedy into the Mulan that we know today, who is the selfless, amazing, courageous warrior. So thanks, Chris.
Yeah, I feel like she was the first princess whose main goal was not to like
get married,
get a man or something. Because even Little Mermaid was also independent, but her whole thing was to be with Eric, you know?
Right. And at the end of Mulan, it's assumed, like, you know...
Oh, in my mind, they are together.
Right, they're together, right? But it's not written in the story. They don't get engaged. They don't get married. There is no, like, you know, moment
That's not her story. Her story is about, you know...
showing honor to her family.
And saving China.
Yes! It's amazing. It's beautiful. So, you might have heard me say that Chris Sanders wanted to be faithful to the original legend. So what do you mean, original legend? Yes, Disney's 1998 Mulan is based off a Chinese legend about a female warrior from the northern and southern dynasties, a period of time lasting from the year 386 to 589. The female warrior has come to be known as Hua Mulan, though she's had many last names throughout history. Zhu and Wei are two of the other common last names that she's had throughout, you know, historical retellings. And Mulan as a name means magnolia flower, which is very pretty.
Pretty.
Her tale is originally described in an epic poem called The Ballad of Mulan from the 6th century. The first written version of her story comes from an anthology from the 12th century called Music Bureau Collection, which references the original 6th century version. Okay, so let's talk about The Ballad of Mulan. It begins with Mulan sitting at her loom. She's worrying as one male from every family is called to serve the army and to defend their realm against invaders. Her father is old and weak, and her younger brother is just a child. So she decides to fight in their place, and both of her parents really support her decision. I love that. She's a skilled young woman, trained in martial arts, sword fighting, and archery. She fights with the army for 12 years and returns home as a decorated warrior. 12 years. That's a long time, folks. It's a long time. She does not take up any official army positions, though she is offered one, preferring to go home and live the rest of her life with her family. Once she dons her normal clothes, the men she fought alongside for 12 years are shocked to realize she was a woman the whole time. Goes to show you, men just don't pay attention, okay?
They don't. You can cut your hair, they have no idea.
And there are many versions of this story published throughout time and history, with, added side stories and plot twists and side quests and all this stuff. And I'm going to share the most popular, extended version of Mulan with you from 1675 from a story called Romance of Su and Tang by Chu Renhao. Okay. So in this version, Mulan is a biracial teenage girl. She's Chu and Chinese, and she decides to dress as a man and volunteer to fight in the newly allied Chu and Chinese army on behalf of her father, who's too old and too frail to fight for himself. And I looked at pronunciations for all of these names. I'm trying really hard.
Yeah.
So I apologize if it sounds horrendous. Please just DM us and I will corrections corner myself if I must. And from what I could understand, the Chu are basically, it's the Chinese name for the Turks of Mongolia during the Tang Dynasty. So that's basically what those people were. So Turk and Chinese. She was basically that kind of biracial. So she decides to fight. Sadly, the Chu army is defeated, but not before Mulan rescues the Khan from being killed. And basically this results in her own capture by a Han Chinese princess named Dao Shenyang. The princess is apparently so generous and loving as a captor that Mulan feels safe enough to reveal her true identity to her. This is a safe space, okay? And the two become sworn sisters.
Aww,
so what is a sworn sister? I love this. You're going to love this even more. So what is a sworn sister? Liao Tong, that's like what it is in Chinese, which means old sames, is a type of relationship in in China, that bonds two girls together for eternity as kindred spirits. I know. These relationships are the strongest and most precious bond between women. And it's a very rare and formal relationship. And women could only have one Liao Tong for their entire life, and it was basically an intensely unbreakable bond. They would frequently develop their own secret languages between each other to communicate that only they could understand, and this was called nushu, and it allowed them to send secret messages back and forth to each other in private, so that only they could understand. I love that.
I want to see this Disney movie.
Yes, we're going to talk a little bit more about this. So there's actually a really great article I found on Quartz about this Nushu secret language that, the Liao Tong would use to communicate with each other. It's called What the World's Fascination with Female-Only Chinese Script Says About Cultural Appropriation by Ilaria Marie Sala. And you are so lucky because I could have done an entire topic on this alone. But go check out that article, read it, and look more into Nushu and Sworn Sisters. It's beautiful. Anyway, so Mulan and Princess Shenyang become sworn sisters. The princess's father is captured by the Chinese and is about to be executed. So both Mulan and the princess go before the emperor with knives in their mouths, expressing their desire to risk their own life if the princess's father is allowed to live. They're sacrificing themselves. Please take us instead of the princess's father. The emperor is so impressed by them that he releases the princess's father. Also in this version of the story, there's this warlord named Lao Cheng, who is the secret lover of the princess. Okay, it gets saucy. You just wait, it gets so good. Okay, so there's this random soldier. He shows up, and he has a letter from Lao Cheng to the local matchmaker asking for the princess's hand in marriage. The princess is devastated, though, because at this point her father is still captured, and so the matchmaker will never have the opportunity to ask her father for permission to give the princess to Lao Cheng. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't believe she'll ever get permission to marry him, and so she's devastated. The princess asks Mulan to deliver a letter to Lao Cheng explaining the whole situation. And so Mulan's like, of course, you're my sworn sister, for sure, I'll do this for you. Mulan sets out with the letter, but as she sets out, she learns that her father has passed away and that her mother has already remarried. It gets really sad here. So by this point, the Khan, who had previously been saved by Mulan, becomes determined to take Mulan as his concubine. Okay? So Mulan asks to see her father's grave before submitting to the Khan. And the Khan is a generous Khan, and he allows this. So at the grave of her father, Mulan slits her own throat, declaring she will be loyal to no man but her father. Damn.
Aww.
It's very sad.
Wait, is the Khan the princess's dad?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, there's a lot of political alliances in this story that I cannot get into. So I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible.
He's just some other guy in charge.
So like I said, Mulan is biracial. She's Chinese and she's part of the Turks of Mongolia. The Turks of Mongolia had a Khan, like a Kaghan.
Oh, right, okay. No, that makes sense.
Okay, and so she like saved him from being killed. She got captured by her, whatever. Okay, so I can move on because that's the end of Mulan's story. But I want to know, do you want to hear the ending of the princess's story?
Yes.
Okay, so last we heard, the princess asked Mulan to take a letter to her lover. Mulan never gets there because she slits her throat over her father's grave.
Yeah.
Okay. So before committing suicide, Mulan gives the letter to her sister, Yao Lan. Yao Lan dresses as a male scholar to deliver the letter to Lao Cheng, the princess's secret lover. Lao Cheng suspects that Yao Lan is a woman and demands Yao Lan prove that she is a man by sleeping in the same bed with him. Lao Cheng insists...
Ladies, don't fall for that.
Lao Cheng insists it's entirely appropriate for two men to sleep side by side, and I would agree with Lao Cheng.
It is, but not like someone you just met. Sleep in my bed tonight. I know you're just the FedEx delivery driver, but I need to know.
I mean, times are different, apparently.
True.
Okay, so Yao Lan agrees to prove that she is a man. Several months later, the princess learns that Yao Lan and Lu Chang have been sleeping side by side, so she summons Yao Lan and uses a magical jade pendant to prove Yao Lan is still a virgin. And of course, Yao Lan passes. She has not been sleeping with Lao Chang. She has been sleeping next to him to prove that she is a man.
God, I don't know how she got roped into this.
Honestly,
she's like, months, I just am delivering a letter from my sister who, sliced her own neck open. I did not ask for this.
She's like, God damn it, I can't believe I agreed to this. So the princess is very happy that Yao Lan and Lao Chang have not been intimate with each other, and she concludes that Lao Chang must still love her. And it's true, Lao Chang does still love her because he marries her, and he also marries Yao Lan, who he knew the whole time was a woman. And so they all get married, and everybody lives happily ever after.
If it works, it works.
And that's the end of the princess's story.
I feel like that would not make it into a Disney film.
It would not, unfortunately, which I think is very juicy, and I would love to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm going to read an interpreted version of the Ballad of Mulan for you right now. And this was interpreted by Han H. Frankel in The Flowering Plum and the Palace Lady, Interpretations of Chinese Poetry.
Ooh.
Okay, so here we go. Sick, sick, and again sick, sick, Mulan weaves, facing the door. You don't hear the shuttle sound, you only hear daughter's sighs. They ask, Daughter, who's in her heart? They ask, Daughter, who's on her mind? Quote, this is Mulan talking. No one is on daughter's heart, no one is on daughter's mind. Last night I saw the draft posters. The Khan is calling many troops. The army list is in 12 scrolls. One very scroll there's father's name. Father has no grown-up son. Mulan has no older brother. I want to buy a saddle and horse and serve in the army in father's place. She is a strong, independent woman.
Mm-hmm.
And this leads us to the Disney Mulan from 2020. As many people know, Disney is releasing a live-action adaptation of Mulan. And here's the premise. This is directly from Walt Disney himself, from the grave.
From his ice chamber, wherever he is.
Yeah, right? Quote, when the Emperor of China issues a decree that one man per family must serve in the imperial army to defend the country from northern invaders, Hua Mulan, the eldest daughter of an honored warrior, steps in to take the place of her ailing father. Masquerading as a man, Hua Jun She is tested every step of the way and must harness her inner strength and embrace her true potential. It is an epic journey that will transform her into an honored warrior and earn her the respect of a grateful nation and a proud father. So the film is supposed to be a combination of the original animated 1998 version and the original source material, The Ballad of Mulan. It's supposed to be like both of those things together. And here's a quote from a producer, Jason T. Reed. The traditional Disney audience and the diaspora Asian audience view the movie in one way, and the traditional Chinese audience view it in a slightly different way. So we really dug in to try and make sure that we were addressing both of those audiences in a thoughtful way. When they released the original animated Mulan in China, there's like a lot of political stuff going on at the time, and at the time only 10 US films a year were allowed to be screened in China, and the American like producers of Mulan were not sure if they were ever actually going to get Mulan to be screened in China in 1998. They did eventually get it to happen, but by that point, like, because there was so much like bootlegging, and at the time of year that the film was released, there's a ton of like mega Chinese movies out that it didn't get didn't do well at the box office. And also people in China, Hua Mulan is like saying George Washington. It's like such a incredible figure in their, you know, like the lore of their country.
Yeah.
That seeing the Disney version, they were like, huh? And they also thought that the Asian characters were too whitewashed, like the design, the animation. They looked too American. They didn't look Chinese enough. So they didn't really like the film that much. It was a huge hit in America, but not a huge hit in China. And so what the producer, Jason T. Reed, is saying is we kind of want to combine what the Americans loved about the original Mulan and then give the Chinese audience in China what they felt the film was lacking when it originally came out. So the film is coming out September 4th, which is just a couple of days after this episode releases, so you can watch it on Disney Plus if you have that subscription. The film stars a Chinese-American actress. Her name is Liu Yifei, and unless you watch like a lot of Chinese movies or TV, you probably don't know her. She was in the film called The Assassins in 2012. You can watch it on YouTube. She was also in The Forbidden Kingdom, which is a movie. You can watch it on Vudu. The film, the new live-action film of Mulan is directed by a woman named Nikki Caro, who directed Whale Rider in 2002. It's actually a really beautiful film about a Maori girl really wanting to be trained with the Maori boys to become leaders of the tribe. And like
so
all this,
so she knows her shtick.
She does know her shtick, and like it's really beautiful. I would recommend watching that film, but I think they made a good choice picking at least a woman director. They tried to get some other Asian directors like Ang Lee to direct Mulan. None of that, ended up happening. But yeah, directed by Nikki Caro. There has been some controversy surrounding the film since the trailer released. Would you like to hear some things?
Yes.
1. None of the original movie from the animated version was featured in the trailer. So like a lot of the fans were like, is it not going to be a musical? And the answer is no, it is not going to be a musical.
I feel like some of the other changes I've heard I'm fine with the musical part. But actually, no, there's something I have a bone to pick about.
Yes, so we're going to get there. I think I know exactly what it is. The filmmakers really wanted to kind of lean into the historical accuracy and really lean away from the fantastical elements, which brings me to point 2. There is no Mushu. So the trailer has no mention of Mushu, or like Mulan's tiny little dragon friend. And like I said, they kind of want it to be more realistic, more of like a war film.
Well, apparently I've heard that is not like true to Chinese culture or whatever. Like the Mushu character is
it's not
like real. It's like an American.
It's American. Yeah, it's 100%
addition
American
to the story. Yeah.
3. Following the logic of it being more realistic, the live action will be more historically accurate. So in the animated version, Mulan fights the Huns, which is completely inaccurate and a complete rewrite of history. Like, they did not fight the Huns at that time. And in 2020, the Mulan film will be fighting against the Bori Khan and his Roran army, which is more historically accurate because that is exactly who Mulan actually fought in the ballad, the original ballad. So,
dude, I feel like these Disney movies, they do like a cultural blunder.
Yeah.
Of like Aladdin is like one of the worst. It's just like Arab.
Yep. It's like, this is what white people think Arab people are. Yeah. Like all of them together. Insane. And point number, let me see, 4. This is the biggest controversy. The removal of Li Shang as Mulan's love interest.
I mean, okay. I think it's fine to take a love interest out of the movie. There doesn't need to be a love interest in the movie. But come on. He's like out of all the Disney movies, this is like my favorite love story out of all the Disney movies.
I know. Do you want to hear the reasoning?
Because he's bisexual?
No.
Oh.
I will read you the reasoning. This is producer Jason T. Reed, back again, said that Shang was dropped in response to the Me Too movement. His statement explains, quote, "Having a commanding officer that is also the sexual love interest was very uncomfortable, and we didn't think it was appropriate." End quote.
Okay. I feel like they could have made it work. They didn't have to make him like a predator.
Right, exactly. And I think that's kind of what they were afraid of happening. They were afraid that in light of the Me Too movement, this would come out and you would have someone in position of power preying on a young, you know,
they could have made
whatever.
him her like co-soldier or whatever.
Or like bunkmate. Not bunkmate, like they live in the same tent together or whatever.
Yeah.
You didn't have to necessarily be a commander.
I think they didn't want to do the whole like, because that's pretty, progressive for Disney at that time to kind of show them flirting a little bit while he still thinks Mulan is Ping. I'm glad to see that they changed her.
Yes.
The name she gives herself.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I remember like watching that movie and I like loved that movie. I loved when he like walks in and he sees that she's a woman. I don't know why. I was such like a pervy little kid, but
no, I agree. I liked
the music
it too.
thing, I love the music for Mulan, and I love musicals, which is why I'm sad it's not there, but I understand that they want to make it more like serious and
right. And I think so. Let me finish talking about Li Shang real quick.
Okay.
So there's backlash. Obviously, we're talking about some backlash, namely because we all know that Shang has basically become an LGBT icon.
Yes.
We love him, especially because of bisexual representation. There's a lot of like, you see in media gay, lesbian, trans representation, but like bisexuality often gets brushed over or just kind of made to be more of like a joke, not like a real thing people actually want to talk about.
And also, I mean, I feel like we're kind of reaching saying he's a bisexual. I don't know.
But that's the thing is like, we don't have any other bisexual legends but Li Shang. So yes, he is. I am claiming him. So apparently, Jason T. Reed, the producer, he was apparently surprised by the criticism of Shang's removal, and he later acknowledged that the character was, in fact, an LGBT icon. He said it.
He did.
Yes. So thank you, Jason T. Reed, for confirming what I thought. And he clarified that Shang's role would be served by 2 new characters, Commander Tung and Chen Honghui. Does that mean there's going to be a frickin' love triangle? I don't know. You heard it here. I cannot confirm or deny. But if Shang is being replaced by 2 men, love
what
triangle.
does that mean?
Love triangle.
Well, I'm excited to watch the live action. The trailer looks really good.
It looks awesome.
Almost cry every time I watch it.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited. I was basically going to end asking whether or not you planned on watching it. And of course you do. We're going to watch it together. I'm forcing that, my hand there. But yeah, I'm excited to see what Disney actually does with this live action remake. I mean, the Aladdin one I never saw, but it looked too ridiculous, so I had no desire to watch that.
Yeah.
But this one looks a little bit more serious. One thing I wanted to point out in the trailer for Mulan, her hair is long. So does that mean we're not going to get the famous hair cutting scene?
Well, they probably realize like you can't. I mean, she cuts her hair with like one
Knife.
swift move of a dagger. It's like I feel
know.
like that unless the dagger's super sharp
And the hair is really taut, held taut. It's like, I don't know. But it does say in the official statement from Walt Disney himself that she will be masquerading as a man. So maybe her hair is like really long and she cuts it shorter. But her hair is about my length. Check out our YouTube if you want to see how long my hair is.
Yeah, I mean, you
Basically,
don't need
this
to
is how
have
long.
short hair to be a man. I mean, when she cuts her hair in the cartoon, it's not like she gives herself a buzz cut.
Right, she still keeps it up in a bun, too.
And she cuts it to her shoulders, which is like how my hair is.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, maybe just she cuts it to be shorter
Yeah.
than it is.
We'll let you know in our next episode, or by the time we watch it.
Yeah, but I really love the original story of Mulan, and I love like the side story with the princess and
Yes,
the warlord.
that would be. I want to read that or watch that movie.
I know. So, the new Disney live action will be a combo of the animated and the ballad. So, we'll see what that means on September 4th.
And if Mulan doesn't slit her own throat over her father's grave,
I swear to
then I am
God.
rioting.
And if there's not a love triangle, I swear to Jesus. It's the least they can do if Li Shang is not there. Sorry, I could talk about Mulan for literally for another 3 hours. So we should end here.
Yes, we will end here. If you want to keep talking to us about Mulan, you can find us on Twitter at The Good Eve Girls.
Or Instagram, The Good Evening Girls.
Or TikTok at The Good Eve Girls.
Please come find us. Have fun with us. We're having a good time.
But until then, we will see you next episode.
Yes, you'll see us and you'll hear us. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.